Welcome to Professional Women's Wellness Podcast, where ambitious women meet total well-being. My name is Dr. Peggy. I am the host and creator of the Mindful Eating Approach to conquer emotional eating and transform your eating habits to enhance all areas of your life. We always offer inspiration, education, and motivation. So please stay tuned to the very end for a special message that will be under the notes for an incredible gift from Professional Women's Wellness. But I am really beyond excited to introduce our next guest, Marla Regan. Regan or Reagan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're from the South, so we say Reagan,
Reagan, okay.
Yeah.
Marla is an expert in organizing and planning strategist and owner of Organized Time. She's an author, certified productivity and full focus coach. She has been speaking to women's groups for over 40 years, 4 decades. Imagine that. She has been assisting clients with their time and paper and stuff since 1997. I just love this. Marla specializes in helping bring people out of chaos into order. And as a result, she makes an immediate impact on the lives of people with whom she works. She's a warm, approachable style in combination with her expertise and passion that inspires her clients to be more efficient and effective at work or at home. Welcome, Marla. I am so delighted to have you here because I know all of the viewers and listeners and myself are going to benefit from your work immensely. So I would love to ask you how you got started. What propelled you to do this kind of business? I mean, wow.
Well, first of all, thank you so very much, Peggy. I'm so excited to be here and reconnect with you. And really, you know what? My story begins when I was a wee one and I was supposed to be taking a Sunday afternoon nap, but instead I was in my closet making sure all of my dresses faced in the same direction. I went from no sleeves to long sleeves, from light to dark, and the ones that I did not like, they went in the back of the closet. So I've been doing this kind of thing for a very long time. And however, how I got into the business of organizing, by trade, I am an administrative assistant. I was school secretary at the three schools my daughters attended because we were military and we moved all over. So I was fortunate to be able to go to school with them when they were in elementary to high school. And so, but back in the 90s, late 80s, the 90s, we started with the Tandy 5000 or whatever that name was with the computer. And the first program, I mean, the programs that we had came out of a book and we had a cassette tape. And so that's how it all started. So we were getting a magazine called Home Computing Magazine. And in that magazine, there was an organizer who would have a messy office picture and then an organized office picture. And I thought, oh, I love this. I can't wait for the next one. Who is this person? How do I get to do this kind of stuff? So, I mean, I was just absorbing all of this. And prior to that, I was a personal secretary and became a Mary Kay consultant. But in the meantime, the lady I was the personal secretary for was also my Mary Kay director. She handed me a cassette tape one day and said, I want you to listen to this. It was all about time management. And she said, when we have our meeting on Monday, I'd like for you to teach this. And I was 26, 27 at the time when she handed me that cassette tape. And I thought later, I'm thinking, did she give me that because maybe I was running a little late coming to her house on certain days or
Mm.
which, if I really unpacked my story, you would go, probably so, Marla. But anyway, that's how my time management got started. But then I knew my husband was going to be retiring from the Air Force very soon. And I thought, becoming a professional organizer is exactly what I want to do. And I did all my research and all of that. So on my 40th birthday, I got my DBA and I started Organized Time. And that's how I got started in business. And then a year later, we moved to Houston, where we live now. And I have been, or was a part of the National Association for Professional Organizers and really did a deep dive in that. And that helped. Community really helps uh,
Oh,
in with anything that you're doing. So that's how I got started.
oh my goodness.
Yes,
You had it in your blood since birth to
I
be
think so.
organized. Organizing dresses by you know, sizes and sleeves and whatnot. I love the fact that you hid the ones you didn't like.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I would get hand-me-downs from my cousins, and I think I got handed down the ones they didn't like, and I didn't like them either, so I just stuck them in the back of the closet. So yeah.
Oh, that is great. That is great. So, there is, I mean, I have a million questions for you, but I want to start with something that you and I had touched on earlier. And it was when working women particularly, right?
Mhm.
They're doing so many things and they have to get organized in so many ways. But sometimes they're super organized at work, but when they come home, they
Mhm.
don't know where to start, you
Mhm.
know, because they're tired too.
Right.
So how do they, you know, how is that how does that happen? You're super organized or, you know, perfect in one area, but other places you're not.
Yes. The areas where we are super organized are the areas where we have the most control. And it usually is at work. And we know where everything goes, and we'll put something in one spot and it'll stay there until we come back to move it or put it away or use it again. When we're at home, usually we're not the only ones there. There are other people. So you may put something down in one spot and come back to that spot and it may not be there because
Hmm.
somebody else moved it to put their stuff down or whatever the situation. So you don't always have control in all areas of your life. So people tell me, you know what, your home must be so organized. And I'll tell them, I'm professional, but I'm not perfect. And I'm not the only one who lives here. So I wish I could say, my husband is organized in some places and some places not so much. So the secret to a happy marriage is to let them be and you do what you can do and leave it at that. But um, one of the things that is so very important is to look at your systems. Systems is what's going to make you or break you. So when you do walk in that door in the evening, um, where are you going to put your bags, your shoes, your keys, all of that? And by having a system rather than just, okay, it all goes on the chair, that's not a system. So by hanging up things and I like to have a hat rack for coats. I like to have a hook for keys. Personally, my keys go in my purse. So at the end of the day, I come in the purse it goes. The purse goes in a chair in my bedroom. So it's having a specific spot for things. And after a while, you will find that you will fall into a habit of putting those things where they belong. Now, one thing I will say, please don't put your keys in a bowl because other things are going to fall into that bowl. peppermints and whatnots and you name it. They're going to go in that bowl, and pretty soon you can't see your keys for the stuff. So if you have a hook that is specific for your keys for all different things, now fobs and all that, then when you come in, it automatically goes on there. And after a while, things get to be automatic. So that's the cool thing about keys. And then,
Systems.
yes, and then going through everything else that you need to do. If you're going to come home and dinner is prepared, what is the system for that? And then after dinner, what is your system for cleanup? Because, at the end of the day, we need to pack up today so that we can unpack tomorrow, because tomorrow begins the night before. We need to look ahead. Hey, what am I going to wear tomorrow? How do I need to show up tomorrow? Is it, is it professional? Is it casual? How do I need to show up? And then you begin to unpack what it is that you need to do for tomorrow. As you're doing that, what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for success, and you're also getting yourself mentally prepared. And then you can start winding down for the day and consider your screen times. When are you going to get off of your phone, off of your computer, off of everything, so that you can begin to let your brain know, hey, we're getting ready for bed now. And then, because sleep is so vitally important,
Yes.
as you know, and we need to get in those 7 to 9 hours, hopefully uninterrupted. Sometimes, the bladder goes, excuse me, can we make that little trip? And so then it's, oh, all right. But
Yes,
anyway,
yes,
so,
yes. Oh
but
my
then
goodness.
in the morning, you are all ready. You know what you're going to wear, you know where you're going, you know what you need. And I always tell people, please check your coffee supply the night before if you make coffee at home. And that way, if you find that you don't have coffee or enough coffee to make coffee, then you go to plan B. You can either run to the store, you can do something about it the night before, or have plan B and do a drive-through. So,
I love the fact that you even included organizing for your coffee.
oh, absolutely. I mean, it's
That is true.
give me
That is
coffee and
true.
nobody gets hurt. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it. That is so good. Um, so do you find is it's common, as we were mentioning before, is it common that people do have areas where do you find you get that as a common thing?
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
really about the areas that you have control of. And I love the fact that you brought that up. That's so true. Because I
Mhm.
was meticulous when I was at work. Oh,
Right.
the
Right.
desk was emptied the night before I left. And then
Hmm.
I started fresh in the morning. So I get that part. Um, and I'm sure that people that work from home, since that's more likely today for
Hmm.
many people, um, I would imagine there's some hiccups because of that, because it's in their home and they're not in control of the space all the time, correct?
Exactly.
Do you have any
Exactly.
any ideas for them?
I do. If someone, like, I'm fortunate that I have a room that I call my office, and I have a door that I can close and take care of business. The dog is on the other side of the door. My husband has his own office. So not everybody has the luxury of having a room that they can call their office to close the door. And if that is the case, then I find that it's important that you can find some kind of privacy, because a lot of our business is done on Zoom, like us today. And
Yes.
it's so important that you're able to have quiet so that you can have a Zoom, an uninterrupted Zoom call. If you have to use your dining room table or the breakfast nook or whatever as your office, I recommend that you have a bag that you can pack that has all of your business stuff in it. You can keep your files, notes, whatever you need for that business in that bag, and then you can spread it out on the table. But then when it's time to pack up, it's the end of your day, leave yourself clues where you are and then pack your bag up and then you can take it away. Nothing is going to get lost that way. You can have files in there for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and keep a schedule of what you do each day. And then our appointments. I have notebooks that I use for different
Mm.
appointments on different days so that I can keep all of my notes together. I'm a paper person. I even do notes on my computer, but this is easier to be able to thumb through and find the notes that I need or the reminder, or we decided that we would do this on this because of that. And so it's all written there. Anyway, but to have a work bag that, and then I know my neighbor across the street also goes into her office a couple of days a month. So she's got her work bag, and then she also has that work bag at home. So it's easy if you do need to go to the office and you're sharing, a workspace at the office as well as you're working from home. That bag is going to be very helpful for you to stay organized with the projects that you're working on. So,
What great ideas and suggestions you have for so many people. And
yeah.
I know numerous people that have been on my podcast. I think every one of them, now I think of it, every one of them works from home. So
Hmm.
it was interesting. And I
Yeah.
love that idea. I love that idea. Another thing that working women might have issues with, I know I have always had this struggle, is how do you organize everything on a computer? Because it's not physical. Yeah,
Right.
look, there's the cloud, there's the C drive, there's a D drive. I mean, there's all these drives and files all over the place and documents.
Mhm.
What can you share to help those people?
One thing that all organizers, we've been teaching this from the beginning, is put like things together. And you have your digital files, and so everything that is related to that particular topic, all of those files would go into that basic umbrella file, so to speak. Another thing that you can do is have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday file. So if
Mhm.
you have a meeting, I actually have a upcoming events file that is, in the left-hand corner. And so this event today went into upcoming events. So I could go there directly. That email slides in there. And so every event that I need to be on Zoom, all of that information is right there. That information, that email goes into that folder that says upcoming events. So that's, and then, um, if you have, I'm not one to really speak to iCloud and all of that. I have
Mhm.
Google, and so I do create my folders on the side for specific things. People's classes that I'm in, their information goes in those files in the left. But like in Word, in my Word documents, I do have a list of all of the files that I need. So I've got files with folders in there. And then sometimes I will even write on the bottom of, like, I am the form queen. I will make a form for everything that I need, and then I will write at the bottom where I file it. Okay, this is in goals, and it's under this, and it's in this. So, or it's in forms, and this. So I do remind myself
I love
where
it.
I have parked the original. So, yeah. So,
That is
yeah.
a really great suggestion. I think I'm going to do that tonight. I have
Oh, good.
files in certain folders. I got that far, but
Yeah.
yeah, you go back into the computer, you're going to look for something, and somehow it went somewhere else than where you thought it went. And
Exactly.
to know that you can just jot it down and copy the URL at that point and put
Yes.
it down, that is amazing. I love it. Um,
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that I know you're a whiz at is time management.
Time management. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm wondering, people struggle with that as well. You know,
Yes.
they, I've had clients that are perpetually late, and it's just they're not there yet.
Hmm.
Uh, and I myself, I was always early for everything I did. I was afraid of being late, but not everybody is like that.
Hmm.
And how do I know it has a lot to do with your calendar and stuff, but if you could speak to that, that'd be terrific for those that are watching or listening.
It absolutely begins the night before, like we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
and to look at what is my schedule for tomorrow. And then I want to know what is it that trips them up that, because for some it's an attitude, I'll get there when I get there.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't really fix that.
Mm-mm.
But for that person that really wants to show up on time and be prepared, you really need to start the night before. If especially for young moms who have children that are going to school, you really need to look at, okay, what do they need? What's going on tomorrow? And what I recommend for young moms with children is to have what I call a family huddle. And family huddles can be called anything, and they can happen between a husband and wife. They can happen between husband, wife, and all the children, or you can have a one-on-one with each one of your children. But when that huddle, you look at the week, the whole week. And sometimes with kids, you may want to go out 2 weeks. Anyway, how many people have had the experience of it being 7:30 on Sunday night? Mom, I need a poster for tomorrow.
Yeah, it happens.
Yes, it does. If you want to eliminate that discussion, then have that family huddle. And everybody, mom, dad, each child has a turn. And if each child can have a planner, that's even better. Even if it's a month at a glance piece of paper, what's going on this week? Okay, you've got band practice, you've got dance, you've got this, that, and the other going on after school. So, okay, we need to make sure that you have that outfit, you've got your music, you've got each thing that you need for that particular event that's going to happen after school. Okay, but we've got to get you to school first. So let's make sure that your bags are packed. Even when you're going out, you're going to go to work, you need to make sure your bags are packed. We need to make sure that whatever you're going to wear tomorrow is presentable. What are you wearing tomorrow? Is there a mystery spot on there we need to take care of? Is it missing a button we need to sew on? What's going on there? Just make sure everything is ready to wear before you go to bed. Okay, this one is key. This one is huge. I can't tell you how many women have told me stories about shoes. I showed up with two different heel lengths of shoes, two different color shoes. Showed up, my child only had one shoe at school. Shoes are huge. So it's very important that the shoes that match, the left one and the right one, are together before you go to bed. So you've got matching shoes. So if you can't turn on the lights while you're getting dressed because a spouse is still asleep, you will at least have two blue shoes or two black shoes instead of a blue shoe and a black shoe that are the same style but two different colors. You're not going to show up that way. So shoes are very important. And so you get everything packed up and ready, bags next to the door. You can have shoes next to the door, whatever. So just get everything all ready the night before. And that way you're not, you save the stress for the traffic that you have to drive in. So,
That is great. And the shoe the shoe differences really make me laugh because I did have uh two sets of heels that you could hardly even see the difference in the dark. They were brown and one was black. And I
mhm.
almost had that incident of going out the door and looking back because they were the same shoe, but in a
Right.
slightly different. And I just laughed my head off. So yes, that does happen. That
It
does
does.
happen. Um, how about when you're looking at your organizing your time, how much buffer should you allow in case some things just don't go the way they want to? You either get traffic or whatever, or perhaps somebody gets sick or something happens.
Right. Um, I like to have um at least a little bit of wiggle room and white space in between. Now, living in Houston, it depends on where I need to go as to how much time I need to allow to get there. And then I always allow at least 20 to 30 minutes sometimes, depending on the length of the trip. I'm going to need to stop and go potty before I go. So anyway, it depends on where you're going or where you live and your commute time. But I always like to do at least 20 minutes extra just to allow for that slow person in front of me, the traffic lights or whatever. And then if I've not been there before, I don't know where I'm going to be parking. I don't know how far it's going to
Mhm.
take for me to
Good
walk
point.
into the building and find the office I'm looking for. So if I'm going to somebody's house, that's not such a big deal. But if I'm going into an office building and I've not been there before, I don't know how long it's going to take me to get from car to office. So
Sure.
a little bit of room there is just a wise thing to do. And but when I'm working at home, I like to schedule 30, no, 60 to 90 minutes to work on a project. And then I will give myself about 15 to 20 minutes in between the next thing. I don't want to go from one thing to another thing to another thing
Right.
because I need a break. I need to go get water, fill up my water glass, just check on my husband, let the dog out, whatever. So having that little white space, that little wiggle room, it just kind of helps your brain to just, okay, get ready for the next thing. And that way, when you do start another project or you have to call somebody or work on a report or whatever you're doing, your brain is ready to go because you've given yourself that little break. And do some stretches and some deep breaths and get your posture back and all that good stuff. And then you're ready to go. So, and
I
then,
love it.
yeah,
Yeah.
set your timer. I am big about setting my timer. It's kind of like the Pomodoro um, project, not project, but the little timer and setting, um, time to do specific things. So it's like, just time blocking is what you're doing for specific projects.
Like cleaning the attic.
Yeah.
Because that was my next thought while you're talking. I'm going, well, yeah, but what about those places we just don't even look at it until you can't even get in the room, you know?
Right,
And I
right,
was thinking about that, like, people, it is timely. If you're going to be sorting out a garage or an attic particularly because it's stuff you don't see.
right,
And now you have to decide, do I want to sell this? Do I want to give it away? What do I want to do with this? I just
right.
don't have the room to keep it. Um,
Exactly.
do you have time to highlight that just a bit?
Absolutely. Absolutely. First of all, um, I'm going to kind of go back a little bit and then we'll go forward with that.
Hmm.
But I find that on different days, being an entrepreneur, there are different things and aspects of your business that you need to take care of. If you can assign a specific task to Monday through Friday to work on your business, and that may be your social media and the way that you want to reach out to people to let them know about your podcast, and you're doing your social media posts and things like that, and reaching out to other people. And if you have a specific day to do that, I have a specific day to write, I have a specific day to do things like this, and to do my social media and to do my videos and things like that. Then I've got a day for catch up. Fridays are usually my catch up day. I take care of my finances, who do I need to reach out to, and that kind of thing. Saturdays are my household day because I found long time ago that working from home, I could hear the laundry saying, "We're over here, come get us," and other things like that. And so now I just say, "See you on Saturday. Not going to worry about you now. I'm going to see you on Saturday." And I don't spend all day Saturday. I mean, I have a specific time to do laundry, and it's not on Saturday. So, but I have specific projects that I know that I can get to on that particular day. When you are talking about a garage or an attic, it's so easy to walk into that garage and go, ugh, and close the door and walk out. But when you have a plan of action to say, I'm only going to work on this section right here, and I'm only going to work here maybe an hour and a half, and I'm going to have my bag for trash. I'm going to have a box for donation, and I'm going to have another box for, I want to give this particular thing to so and so. So it's the giveaway box, the donation box, and the trash box. And if you can eliminate the trash first, take out the things that you do not want that will either be donated or given away, what's left will be the things that you organize. Please, please, please do not go out and buy bins and boxes and shelving first. That is the last thing that you want to do. And before you do that, you want to shop your house first. I was working with a lady in her closet, and she bought shelving and all kinds of things. And after we eliminated, I want to say half of what she had in that closet, all of those things that she bought needed to be returned because she didn't need them anymore. The space that she had was perfect for what she kept. So I always tell people that's not the first thing that you want to do. It's the last, and you will know exactly how many hangers you want. You'll know exactly what kind of shelving and boxes that you need, any kind of containers that you want. So you don't go into that because it becomes part of the clutter problem. So
That is such good advice.
oh,
I
good.
love that. And I've never heard that don't get your containers till after. That is great. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that. But wow, we have covered quite a bit of information here today, and I'm sure all the listeners are taking a lot of notes. But of course, they will get to see it and be able to play it many times. But how can people get in touch with you? And I know that you had mentioned you're going to give people a little gift as a thank you for viewing or listening to this podcast.
Well, I think what I sent you was my ideal week calendar
Yes,
so that
yes.
you can look at it goes from I think 6 o'clock in the morning till about 8 o'clock in the evening, Sunday through Saturday, so that you can look and see when am I going to do what, and you just put it down there. And it's your ideal week. It doesn't necessarily have to be exactly the way it's going to go, but this gives you a guide of the way you want your week to look. When do you want to wake up? When do you want to exercise? When do you need to be out the door? What are you going to do on specific days? And also, please schedule in do nothing time because you need a break. And that do nothing time may be 15 minutes of just sitting outside with a cup of tea or a glass of sweet tea and just enjoying the birds singing, just taking a break from everything, or taking a walk around your block, whatever. But you do need do nothing time, and you do need catch up time. Catch up to take care of your finances, pick up little pockets of clutter that are here and there, and get yourself set up for success for the next thing. So that's that. And I think the best way to get in touch with me is through email. My email address is Marla, Marlar, at organized time, organizedtime.com. And if anybody would like to have like a 20-minute talk about something specific, I promise you will go away with at least one tip to help you to move forward in whatever your situation is, whether it is productivity, planning, or conquering clutter. So
That is so generous of you. And all of your information will be in the notes
great.
with the podcast show. So I know that many people are going to be thrilled to get all these really, really unbelievable tips that you've already shared with us, and some that many of the viewers have never even thought of. So thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure.
We are all very privileged to hear your wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you.
What if food wasn't the enemy, but just a messenger? You're not weak or broken. You have just been coping with emotions the only way you knew, through food. Stress eating after work, sugar cravings when exhausted, guilt after giving in again. Well, when you pause, breathe, and tune in, you shift from survival to self-awareness. You eat with intention, not impulse. You feel back in control. Healing starts with one mindful step, and I want to offer you a free access to my exclusive programs inside my school community. A supportive space created specifically for professional women just like you, who are tired of the guilt, confusion, and the all or nothing approaches to food and body confidence. And here's what you'll find inside: courses that help you understand patterns and break free from emotional eating, and finally feel in control without dieting or calorie counting. Live group coaching and office hours to get direct support and personalized feedback from me. You'll also see workshops, challenges, and bonus resources on sleep, stress, mindful eating, metabolism, and more. A private community where women who truly get it, no judgment, just support. If you want to open your eyes to freedom from food, let this be the first step that opens the door. Let's work together and create a lasting peace with food and your body. All you have to do is join my Stop Emotional Eating School group by clicking the link below, where women are ditching guilt and reclaiming food freedom. Make peace with your plate today. Just click on the link, or it's professionalwomanswellness.com. I'll see you at the other side.